Good morning. I am Kevin Price. Delighted to be with you. Going to spend some time talking to you about you and your business. We've got Jane Henry here, and she is with Execution. She's a regular Price of Business contributor and does a great job every time we have her on the program. First of all, I love the work of Execution, and I love that work, and I love the people that you bring in. And today's even more special, bringing in a blast from the past, a friend of ours from quite some time ago that I'm looking forward to this interview. But before we get started with the interview, why don't you tell us a little bit more about the great work of Execution?
You bet. Well, as you know, Kevin, Execution is a performance consulting company, and we specialize in taking the politics out of change. And there's a huge change going on right now with a lot of the Fortune 100 companies. They're looking for us to help them really mature and scale the small to medium-sized businesses. And the importance of that is they're looking to focus their attention on businesses like Deb's, and we're going to hear from her in a second. So that she can grow as much as 30 to 40% or more. And then she reaches back and helps others. So I'm very pleased to have Deb on the show today. And that's Deb Schindler, Bolting House with Genesis Business Communication Solutions. And that would be at www.genesisbcs.com.
Yeah, and I know Deb, when she was a guest when the Price of Business was on CNN 650 way back in the day. Good to see you again.
Good to see you, too. Glad to be back.
Kind of give us the elevator speech about Genesis.
You bet. So at this point, we're a 32-year-old Houston-based company. We have 3 divisions. In any division you are talking about or we're addressing, there's one component that's the same. We're known as high hand-holding, lots of service, lots of attention to detail, and therefore excellent installs, customers happy, great customer experience surveys. 3 areas of the business are LED lighting, huge growth area, environmentally amazing product, and we apply our procedures to that sale and installation. The telecom division, which is wireless phone systems, and we do something different there. We do hosted cloud or prem, and we help customers decide which is better for their business, as well as video conferencing and security cameras. Third part of the business is structured cabling. Some of the big buildings that have just recently gone up, we were in charge of all the cabling, like the United States Postal Service building and Coast Guard. That's what we do.
Yeah, very good, very good. Why don't you, next question, Jane?
So, Deb, one of the things in talking about this reach back and those suppliers, and you obviously are a premier supplier in this area. You had recently participated in a program with the Houston Community College called the 10,000 Small Business Program. Could you tell us a little bit about that?
I would just be thrilled to. So I was in business 29 years when I took that program. It was 2.5 years ago. And I knew I needed to rev up, do something that got me going. And I signed up for the program, not knowing exactly, but it was just the right thing to do. And 2.5 months after the program began, I was exhausted, enthralled with my business, in love again with what I had originally come back to develop the business for, and had all kinds of plans and ideas and new people. And it really has opened up. And I will say that it was a pillar in my development as a business person, a marker along the way that will always be there for me, that continues and will always affect how I make decisions and what I do today.
Tell us a little bit about exactly what it is. So we hear your energy, which is awesome about what it did, but what is it for those not familiar?
It is a course that would be, I would say, termed a fast, concentrated MBA course. We cover every subject you can imagine, how to evaluate financials, how often you need to see them, negotiation. We read an outside book on that. We go to classes. It's very planned out, organized with great professors, and we are meeting in a room with 20 to 30 other businesses who are trying to all kinds of things to grow themselves as well. So by the end of the course, the energy in the room is so high because A, we all know each other. We've all compared notes. We're rooting for each other. We're giving each other ideas. We've gone through course material that has taught us much. And it's like the world just opened again. Did that help explain?
Yeah, it helps quite a bit. Jane, you're obviously very familiar as well. If, this is the shortcoming of radio. No one can see the enthusiastic look in your face. There's a major company that sponsors this program. I am familiar with it. Who is the underwriter of it?
Yes, it's Goldman Sachs.
Yes, we've had the coordinator from HEC on the program a few years back to talk about it. So
good.
It's phenomenal.
Well, and my next guest, the next time I come on the show, will actually be Kathy Landry, the current coordinator, and some of the plans that they're talking about moving forward. So in the course, just like Deb had talked about, there's 10 modules, and it's really everything you need to know to start scaling. And we really want to advocate suppliers going through that program so they can position themselves to grow with these Fortune 100s. And especially, just in general, I call it the procurement ecosystem. I just think they're absolutely critical for us to, continue to mature our community.
Yeah, no question about it. Your next question?
Okay, so Deb, you had talked about, and that's a key core component for the Goldman Sachs or the 10,000 Small Business Program. You talked about it really launched your business and helped you. Could you tell us a little bit about the growth that you've been having?
Yes, I'll talk about three things. The first one was I'd been using a web design company and wonderful people, but I wanted to immerse myself into marketing ideas on the web. So we hired a grad with a marketing degree, one of our Texas universities, and that grad has just done phenomenal because they become part of our culture. They understand who we are. So our social media is just oozing with who we are, oozing with we want to share and great ideas, and it's been really successful. We're now getting a quantifiable number of organic call-ins per month that turn into sales because of that program.
And if you were to put a percentage increase on that, if you were to guesstimate that, what would
I
you
would
call it?
say that was responsible for probably a 10 to 15% increase,
Nice.
just that alone. And then the second thing I would say is I went into that with an idea of a division I wanted to open, which was the structured cable division. Well, you have an idea, but now who's your competition? What are they doing? How are they doing that? Where do they fail? All those research things that I wouldn't have done at all in some cases or at all thoroughly in other cases, I did, and I did well. So when we opened, I had 2 people in mind. We hired those people, and that division doubled our growth our second year with that division.
And
so
you were already large, so double the growth.
it doubled
That's
the
amazing.
growth. Yeah. By the way, I don't want to go through that again. So we're not going to do that again. But we did it, and it was a wonderful ride, and I'm glad, and we're still in a growth mode.
Debra Schindler of Boltinghouse, our guest today from Genesis. And by the way, that's genesisbcs.com. And she's here today with our contributor, Jane Henry, and she's Chief Executive Officer of Execution. Great job, ladies.
Thank you.
Good to see you both.
Good to
All
see
right.
you.
When we come back, much more for you. Do want to remind you, best content here does show up over there at usdatareview.com. And this is The Price of Business.